Senior Housing and Universal Design by Michael Schneider. Let's face it, the bottom line is that at best we are all only temporarily able-bodied. Injury, illness, or age can render us disabled for at least some time in our lives. Designing for accessibility equips us to be able to function at all times and creates the opportunity to live in the same place for most of our lives. An important measure of sustainability and especially applicable in consideration for seniors. And that includes the go-goes, the slow-goes, and the no-goes. In this article, we focus on accessibility issues in the built environment and how national and local regulations are designed to ensure access for all without discrimination due to disability. By disability, we include not only mobility considerations, but also communication issues such as vision and hearing. We'll discuss the concept of universal design, which refers to broad spectrum ideas meant to produce buildings, products, and environments inherently accessible to older people, both with and without disabilities. So, what is universal design? Also referred to as UD. According to the Center for Universal Design, it's the design of products and environments to be usable by all people to the greatest extent possible without the need for adaptation or specialized design. Products and places which follow the principles of UD meet the needs of users with varying characteristics. Disability being one characteristic, but also age, because mobility and communication requirements play significant roles in this group. The principles of UD are applicable to any product or environment. One example found in UD discussions is the service counter, which is intended to serve everyone, none of whom have the same needs. Is the patron short or tall, wheelchair bound, vision or hearing impaired? The same questions could be asked of the service provider. A UD-inspired solution to the situation might involve a service counter which can have repositionable heights depending on the user. Products and environments applying UD principles often have added benefits to other parts of the population than the specific group of users to be served. Examples include automatic door operators, which are useful to able-bodied users who are carrying packages, curb cuts on sidewalks for wheelchair access that are also helpful for baby strollers and other wheeled equipment, and message captioning in noisy environments such as airports and sports venues, which enhance communication. UD is a goal that puts a high value on both diversity and inclusiveness. It is also a process. Universal Design Principles. At the Center for Universal Design, also known as CUD, at North Carolina State University, a group of architects, product designers, engineers, and environmental design researchers established 7 principles of UD to provide guidance in the design of products and environments. The following are the CUD principles of UD, each followed with an example of its application. Number 1, equitable use. The design is useful and marketable to people with diverse abilities. For example, proximity readers are convenient for all users. Number 2, flexibility in use. The design accommodates a wide range of individual preferences and abilities. An example is an ATM that has visual, tactile, and audible feedback, a tapered card opening, and a palm rest. Number 3, simple and intuitive. Use of the design is easy to understand, regardless of the user's experience, knowledge, language skills, or current concentration level. A moving sidewalk or an escalator in a public space is an application of this principle. Number 4, perceptible information. The design communicates necessary information effectively to the user, regardless of ambient conditions or the user's sensory abilities. An example of this principle is captioned television programming projected in noisy restaurants. Number 5, tolerance for error. The design minimizes hazards and adverse consequences of accidental or unintended actions. An example of a product applying this principle is software applications that provide guidance when the user makes an inappropriate selection. Number 6, low physical effort. The design can be used efficiently, comfortably, and with a minimum of fatigue. Lever or loop handles on doors or faucets demonstrate the application of this principle. Number 7, size and space for approach and use. Appropriate size and space is provided for approach, reach, manipulation, and use regardless of the user's body size, posture, or mobility. Controls on the front of equipment and clear floor space around appliances, mailboxes, and other elements are examples of applying this principle. Other universal design ideas. Here are some other examples of UD ideas, which include the senior housing market, but have application to other housing segments and the general population in a variety of settings. Smooth ground level entrances without stairs. Surface textures that require low force to traverse on. Surfaces that are stable, firm, and slip resistant. Wide interior doors, 3 feet high, 3 feet by 0 inches. Hallways and alcoves with 60 inches by 60 inch turning space at doors and dead ends. Single hand operation with closed fist for operable components, including fire alarm pull stations. Components that do not require tight grasping, pinching, or twisting of the wrist. Components that require less than 5 pounds of force to operate. Light switches with large flat panels rather than small toggle switches. Buttons and other controls that can be distinguished by touch. Bright and appropriate lighting, particularly task lighting. Auditory output redundant with information on visual displays. Visual output redundant with information in auditory output. Contrast controls on visual output. Volume controls on auditory output. Speed controls on auditory output. Signs with light on dark visual contrast. Instruction that presents material both orally and visually. Labels on equipment, control buttons that is large print. Some of these extend beyond what the accessibility requirements are for mobility and communication compliant housing per the Fair Housing Act, the Americans with Disability Act, or state and local building codes, but they serve to provide more inclusive and diverse environments toward the goal of access for all. The author, Michael B. Schneider, is the owner of Endelman Associates, PLLC, an ADA and FHA compliance consulting enterprise serving clients on projects throughout the country with design phase evaluations and construction phase surveys. Their vision is access for all, with the mission focused on regulatory compliance with objective interpretations and a risk management approach. Senior housing project clients include Merrill Gardens, City of West Hollywood, Seattle Housing Authority, Graystar, 4 Property, The Wolf Company, SRM, Island Construction, Image Housing, and Wesley.